Hello and welcome back. Today's video features this stamp set by Brutus Monroe, particularly these two, who more than one person told me look like me and my husband. This is part of a hop that is coordinated in the Card Hoppin' Facebook group. The theme is the year you were born, and the technique is either alcohol ink marbling or the shaving cream method. And I am going to do alcohol inks in this video, so make sure you check out all the other participants in the hop. I'm going to link them down below. Be sure to watch, subscribe to their channels, and give them all a thumbs up. I went ahead and colored in my images of the man and woman. You'll see that I have some peace signs that are scattered in the background. Those I stamped separately, and I didn't color them in initially. What I decided to do was make them have them match my background piece, and at this point I hadn't made the background pieces yet, so I didn't know what colors I was going to end up with. So I went ahead and colored in my people and then, set that aside. So this is the fun part of the video and also the messy part. What I did is I started out with 3 different colors of alcohol inks. Here I'm just using an 8x8 or 9x9 glass pan and about an inch worth of water, and dropping some of these inks in. Of course, the more that you drop in, the more saturated and brighter your colors will be. And we'll see that in just a minute here. I did quite a bit of research before buying these inks, and these are the Ranger inks. So they're, I guess, probably the top of the line ink for a craft alcohol ink. I did do a bunch of reading of different reviews, and there were a few times in reading the reviews that I saw that people said specifically that the other brand inks were not as good as the Ranger and to stick with Ranger. So that's what I did here, is I purchased the Ranger inks. And you see I just slide my paper underneath that ink and it picks up as it goes in. I did it a little faster a couple times and a little slower a couple times, and about this speed gave me the best result. Of course, it probably depends on the paper that you're using and the temperature outside and a number of things. So definitely use what you've got and experiment. Here I go ahead and add some more ink. You'll see that the yellow is really kind of getting sucked up by the pink and blue, but it still turns out pretty bright on some of these initial pieces. I do go a little slower for this one, just kind of trying to gauge how much ink goes onto the paper. Of course, it's easier to see in real life that the ink is already attached to the paper. Now, you don't necessarily want to lay this upside down, but what I do eventually is learn to set the paper at an angle and let it drip onto a paper towel or just a craft towel, and that keeps some of those other colors from bleeding into the yellow. So I knew that I would be touching these and putting my fingers in the ink and making a mess. So I did cut these at 5.5 by 4.25, assuming that I would be cutting them down to 4 by 5.25 for card mats. If you're interested in a little more of the trial and error that I had trying out this technique, I am going to post a longer unedited video. But until then, if you've liked this video so far, be so kind as to hit the like button. You'll see I did make a pretty large pile of these backgrounds using a couple different techniques and a lot of that trial and error I was just talking about. And these are the two most interesting ones. This happens to be the one that I end up using on this card today. So now that I have my background done and it's dry, I found some pens that match the colors in this background, and I went ahead and colored in the little peace signs, and they match pretty well. And once I get that done, I go back to the stamp set and I find a sentiment stamp. It says, "Have an awesome day." So I get out my MISTI and stamp that up. And then, because this paper is warped a little just from being in the water and having all of that ink, I didn't want to add more water to it. I wasn't sure if it would smear any of the ink or anything like that. So I used a dry adhesive. I used my ATG gun, and I used that ATG on both of the pieces, the base and the image. Thanks so much for watching another one of my videos. I really appreciate it. Again, this is brought to you by the Card Hoppin' Facebook group, and the theme is the year you were born, and the technique is alcohol ink marbling. Check out the other videos in the hop to watch other people probably do a nicer, less messy job of alcohol marker or alcohol ink marbling. And quite a few people chose the shaving cream method as well. That's a method that I used in the past, maybe 20 years ago now. That is really fun, but I feel like this was less messy than that. So I'm glad I chose this one. And also it was new, so it was really fun to kind of try out. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. This is my 99th video on YouTube, so the next one I post will be 100. And at that time, I'm going to celebrate my 100th video and my 500 subscribers with a little giveaway, so make sure you turn on notifications. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget, safety first.